Hi, I'm Glenn. I'm here to do a tutorial on Jeremiah Johnson. I was asked just a couple days ago by C.T. Locke if I would show people how to play Jeremiah Johnson as a strummed or strumming song rather than finger picking. And I think it's a little easier to get a handle on this song because then you can think mostly about your left hand rather than about what your right hand is doing. And if you're new to the guitar, you still have to, of course, think about what you're doing with your right hand, about how to strum. I'm using a Charmed Life flat pick that cost about 25 bucks. Maybe it's 30, I don't remember, but it's fairly thick, and it's made out of some special plastic, which I've forgotten what it's called. And so it has a nice warm sound to it. So if I pick this like a bluegrass player, you know, you can hear it's got a lot of punch to it, and the string sounds are warm. And by the way, this guitar is an advanced jumbo made by Gibson. So it's got a big sound, and the strings that are on this guitar right now, I usually use light gauge strings because I have some arthritis issues with my fingers. You can see my fingers are a little knobby. And so I usually use light gauge strings, but these are actually what are called medium light. They're Martin phosphor bronze medium light. So they're in between medium gauge and light gauge. All of the various strings are just an average between the two. So the guitar has a little bit more punch to it, a little more volume with these medium light strings than I would normally have. So it's a good guitar to use to illustrate how you would strum Jeremiah Johnson. So let me give you a quick illustration of what this song, you know, at normal tempo would sound like. When I did my earlier performance of Jeremiah Johnson and the tutorial, I had the capo on the 3rd fret, or if you're from, you know, England, you'd call it a capo, or Europe for that matter. In America, mostly we tend to call it a capo, probably the wrong pronunciation. But either way, I don't have a capo on here, so this song is pitched down in the original key where it was sung, where Tim McIntyre sang it for the Jeremiah Johnson movie, and it's just way kind of down in the basement. And the reason that I'm going to do it with no capo on and in the original key is because a woman then could have a better chance of singing this song an octave higher and it would sound good. And not that it doesn't sound good when a guy with a deep voice sings this. That's just not me. I mean, I'm a baritone and I can sing down low, but I don't think it's the optimum place for my voice. But I'm going to do it for this tutorial so it's easier for a female player to make sense of this song. And I think it's a good song for a lady to sing. Jeremiah Johnson made his way into the mountains, betting on forgetting all the troubles that he knew. The trail was wide and narrow, so the eagle or the sparrow showed the path he was to follow as it flew. A mountain man is a lonely man, and he leaves a lot behind. It ought to have been different, but you oftentimes will find that the story doesn't always go the way you had in mind. Jeremiah's story was that kind. Jeremiah's story was that kind. That you wander is the way that you choose. The day that you tarry is the day that you lose. Sunshine or thunder, a man will always wonder man is a lonely man, and he leaves a lot behind. Ought to have been different, but you oftentimes will find that the story doesn't always go the way you had in mind. Jeremiah's story was that kind. Jeremiah's story was that kind. Okay, so I'm playing it in the key of G. The kind of G that I'm using is not the usual 3-finger G, but a 4-finger G, which means that I'm adding my ring finger on the 2nd string, 3rd fret. And the other fingers and other strings, just in case you don't know, is index finger on the 5th string, 2nd fret, so you can see that. The middle finger, 6th string, 3rd fret. The pinky finger, in this case, is on the 1st string, 3rd fret, down here. And the ring finger is on the 2nd string, 3rd fret, right here, playing a D note. Okay? So to get through the first verse, you only have to know G and E minor. So what is E minor? E minor is these 2 middle fingers on the 5th and 4th string, 2nd fret. So middle finger, 5th string, 2nd fret, ring finger, 4th string, 2nd fret. It's really easy, one of the easiest chords to play on a guitar. Okay, now what am I doing with my right hand? Now, there's nothing scientific about this. This is just me going by feel. What would I do with a flat pick to strum it? So at speed, I'm going. But slowed down, I'm going. One, two, three, four. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, and then repeat. Down, down, up, down, up, down, up, like that, okay? So I'm going to do this slow. Jeremiah Johnson made his way into the mountain, betting on forgetting all the trouble that he knew. The trail was wide and narrow, so the eagle or the sparrow showed the path he was to follow as it flew. Chorus, okay? D. The chorus starts out in D, goes to C, and then to G. The same G we've been playing with the 4 fingers. And then repeat. D and C and G. So the first 2 lines of the chorus are just D, C, G. 3 blind mice, right? And the story doesn't, and then you get to the 3rd line, story, E minor, story doesn't always go D, the way you had in mind. C, Jeremiah's story was E minor, that kind. C. Jeremiah, D. Story was that G kind. So if we go through the chorus slowly, a mountain man is a lonely man, and he leaves a lot behind. It ought to have been different, but you oftentimes will find that the story doesn't always go the way you had in mind. Jeremiah's story was that kind. Jeremiah's story was that kind. Now slow, we do the second verse. The way that you wander. I'll go a little faster now because I'm about to fall asleep. The way that you wander is the way that you lose. The day that you tarry is the day that you lose. Sunshine or thunder, D. A man will always wonder where, C. The fair wind blows. Okay? Where the fair wind blows. Okay, so back to the chorus. How do you play a D? You're playing three fingers. You play index finger on the third string, second fret, middle finger on the first string, second fret, and ring finger, second string, third fret. And playing the D that way, you can play the highest 5 strings. If you want to play all 6 strings, which is what I usually do, I reach around and grab the 6th string on the second fret to make an F sharp note, so I can play all 6 strings. So a mountain man, and then you go to a C. It's a lonely man, so C is basically index finger on the second string, first fret, middle finger on the 4th string, second fret, pinky finger on the 5th string, 3rd fret, and ring finger on the 6th string, 3rd fret. 6th string, 3rd fret. So it looks like this and sounds like this. Then I can play all 6 strings. So if you go D, playing all 6 strings, a mountain man is a lonely man, and then back to the G. And he leaves a lot behind, right? D. It it ought to have been C, different. That's the C and G. But oftentimes you will find, then to E minor, that the story doesn't always go D, the way you had in mind, C. Jeremiah's story was that E minor kind. C. Jeremiah's story, D, was that kind. Okay? I don't think there's any new chords in the second verse. The way that you, but it's not the same as the first verse. First verse is just G and E minor. The second verse is different. The way that you wander is the way that you choose. Playing G. The day that you tarry is the day that you lose. Back to G. E minor. Sunshine or thunder. Now you go to a D. A man will always wonder. C. Where the fair wind blows. G. Yeah, where the fair wind, C, G, blows. Back to a G. And then back to the last chorus. Okay? A A mountain man is a lonely man, and he leaves a lot behind. It ought to have been different, but you oftentimes will find the story doesn't always go deep the way you had in mind. Jeremiah's story was that kind. Jeremiah's story was that kind. I'm not going to give you a bluegrass lesson because I'm not really a very good bluegrass player. I'm just sort of making this up as I go. But it goes to show you that with these basically simple, straightforward chords, you can do a lot, and that's kind of what bluegrass is based on. Okay? I hope this is helpful, and don't want to make it too long, so thank you for listening. Bye-bye.